Banana there.
All right, let's get Banana up on the screen. Mostly because I love his card blocker. He's on a 5-minute delay with a card blocker, and that's okay. If you repeat a joke, it gets better. That's what I've learned as I've become closer and closer to becoming a father in my life. Exius is I like bunnies.
There's definitely a point with a joke where you repeat it enough times and it becomes unfunny.
No.
But then you repeat it more and it becomes funny again.
Why can't you hear it? Because the P is silent. Yes.
Audible groan.
It was still funny. It was just...
Hey, at least
Okay, that just messed me up.
Then I need anything, really.
I think I've played against 2 or 3 Benoshi Undead decks,
That art on the alternary.
so now
One
I'm
of the
playing
things
against
I didn't like
Benoshi
about
again,
the
but it
X-Men,
apparently is Shin'Hare,
of which
and I just kind of
Was that the Venom that are portrayed there are
completely
scary, but
spaced when I
not
saw him drop a Wild Shard.
actually scary?
What do you mean?
Well, they're like implied scary. It's like a. It's
still
like a
playing
writing
the,
thing,
Wild-
right? Like it's implied heavily
Yeah.
that the Venom are scary
What's
from
your
about a quarter of the way into the book, right up until near the.
I'm
last
3-1 at
climax,
the moment.
Ooh, nice.
and they never do anything.
They didn't draw their spiderlings.
They didn't draw their spider thing.
Come on, how
There's, like,
difficult of a decision
There are,
is this
like,
with the
two
Inquisition,
Venom
dude?
actually ever on screen, air quotes. It's very weird.
They're
You have a
kinda
bunch of
just,
scary cards.
in the background.
Yeah, but
Well,
still.
it reminds me of like, it reminds me of kind of like the
Or get off the
threat
pot.
of let's say Voldemort in Harry Potter,
Okay, sure.
where for 95% of the series, Voldemort isn't scary. And well, I mean, I would say it's more than that actually. It's probably like 80% because the last 2 books he is actually quite scary. In the last 2 books, Voldemort becomes more of a threat, whereas in the first 5 books, I want to say, he's really just like the threat of a scariness. You're like, oh no, he might be there this time. Oh, he showed up and he's a wacky face on the back of the professor's head. Oh no. Spoiler warning. But it's never like actually scary. He never does anything that is threatening.
Against freaking
I'm
undead.
pronouncing his name wrong. How do you pronounce Voldemort? The T is on. Voldemort? Okay, sure. Voldemort. Whatever.
Oh, here we go. Semi-final.
Whatever makes you happy, Mike. Whatever makes you. I don't understand the joke you're getting at.
This isn't Hex George Potter here.
No, I was just using it as like a standby. So like, the Venom in the Accidental Knight, you're like, okay, but the movies were different. You spend a lot of time like, oh no, the Venom have done a thing and it's scary, and oh no, I'm comparing literary devices. Yeah. Anyway, I don't care what she said. The pronunciation was. She didn't. Yeah, well, they said it wrong in all of the movies that she helped with then, so.
Surprised you did that without slipping another "that's what she said" joke.
No. Let's try to keep it classy around here. You're used to platooning, Aggie.
Right, so it looks like Banana here has at least sent the challenge off.
And the coin flip is a go. We need, I don't know. You know, the thing about the coin is that I've never really, like, you're never sure who, like, you don't know what the coin flip means. So it's so arbitrary. Like, if it lands heads or tails, you still don't know who it's flipping for.
Right. It just shows you. It's just a flipping coin. Just something to pass the time while you're waiting.
I guess. but it eats up valuable seconds in the game.
It does, but it's just a cool little.
Yeah, Tom Riddle. Just call him Tom Riddle. So we see the minion of Yazakan from Mind here, followed up by an Inquisition. This is a turn 1 versus a turn 2 play here, obviously. And Nolfem on his side of the board, Banana, has played a Sapphire Shards thus far.
And reveals a hand with dwarves in it. Looks like we're going to be seeing some dwarf tribal this time around. Also appears to have the qualifier sleeves there.
They look classy.
I like it.
I think they lose something when the edges of the cards going up and down aren't darker.
Yeah, I still like that one. I'm a fan.
Yeah, no, I'm nothing wrong with them. I'm just, while we wait for this Inquisition to resolve. Or for the card to be chosen.
Mind thinking long and hard, maybe.
Well, what Mind is likely doing is writing down all of these
Down.
cards.
Yeah, exactly.
If this were a paper TCG, it would be more apparent what's going on. But when you're in a digital interface, you're sitting here like going, hello? Hello?
Disconnect. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, 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 beep. Arr.
And spoiler, if you're playing against me, I probably did disconnect.
Hey, you've been on a disconnect train recently.
Really sad. It's really sad. I'm even asking his opponent. Here.
And we see a Reese is removed from the hand of Nolfem, and the minion of Yazakan swings in. We see a resource, and we see a tunneled card on Nolfem's side of the board.
So I just realized that with
It's-
Blood and Sapphire here, it may not necessarily be dwarves. It may actually be.
Yeah, it's rogues. It's absolutely rogues. I didn't correct you earlier because I'm not a jerk. But I'm correcting you now because you've opened up your mistake.
Just got run over by Shinhan.
Yeah, I mean, they are, basically. Most of the good rogues are dwarves right now. You can see Mind contemplating his turn, lays down another minion of Yazakan, has the option of sacrificing his second minion of Yazakan onto the first here, and does so, which will retunnel that minion of Yazakan. It goes back underground, where it will rise from its shin-haired grave. And so that's it.
Definitely a good choice when you're playing against a control deck. The minions themselves somewhat flimsy with the one defense, but adding the third defense there makes it pretty tough to deal with.
It's not even really about the defense, it's the acceleration in the attack.
The acceleration of the attack also very good. Yes, it
mean,
accelerates the attack for both of them here by sacrificing it off.
Yeah. Always wondered just how much more play Minion of Yazakan would see if it was +1/+1 when it went underground.
Yeah, I kind of like that they did it the way that they did. Gives it a little bit more tension against things like Zared or Cogtopetals Thirst.
So we are going to see a little bit of a beating here. Nolfem tunnels a card, Subterranean Spy, no reason to beat around the bush. This is on a 5-minute delay, and it will have certainly surfaced by now. And we can see Mind's Hand as well, which is a Cogtopetals Thirst, a Murder, and an Extinction, which are strong cards for this particular state in the board, especially considering Nolfem hasn't developed his own board, and he's already on 13 health, and next turn he'll be facing a 5-attack swing.
Should point out Nolfem just playing his third shard here.
Yeah. So this is probably swing, bring in the Vampire King. but we might see. There's always the possibility for the Thirst here.
Yes.
Because if the Thirst draws a shard, well, looks like we will see Time Ripple from Nulfem. He's going to take that 3/3 off the board.
It's okay to thirst your 3/3, but you definitely don't want to thirst off your 2/1.
And we see the minion of Yazakan return to the board, just presenting itself as a terrifying threat. We do see the Subterranean Spy surface, which will announce to Mind, "Hey, yo, I got you on track. I saw your hand." But additionally, we see the Agent of Mole surface, which will have a couple of counters on it from its stint underground. Agent of Mole, with its 1/3 defense, is likely going to swing in here. It cannot be blocked, and it doesn't really present a good option in defense. But it's going to be about putting all of those sabotages in, not sabotages, booby traps, in Mind's deck.
Yeah, the booby trap's definitely the best part.
And we see the Buccaneer knocking that minion of Yazakan back to Mind's hand again. Interesting little bug there where he's got a gap in his hand.
Yep, the card disappeared for some reason.
I've never seen that.
I've noticed it before. I don't know why it happens. I can't tell a right reason to it, but I've definitely seen that happen a time or two before.
Yeah, I've never seen that. So we see the option here for Nulfem to trade his Buccaneer for one of the many lives of the minion. One of the advantages of the minion is it's never truly gone, so you can make these swings. And we do see the extinction in response. That did come from a hand that Nulfem had seen, so there's a possibility that he should have seen it coming, as it were.
Yeah, should have just probably blocked there.
But we don't know what those last 4 cards in his hand are. He does just pass his turn with 4 resources open here.
We do see the damage there. Looks like he missed his draw step.
Yep. That booby trap so early. I mean, any booby traps at all are good, because in general it's very difficult to put booby traps into your opponent's deck.
Yeah, booby traps for people who haven't seen it before. In addition, when you draw it, in addition to taking the damage, it nullifies your card draw for the turn, so you don't get any new cards either there. So, pretty nice.
It's entirely unlike spiders.
Right. Exactly.
And that's why it's harder to put them in than spiders. Because delaying your opponent's draw step is an absurdly powerful mechanic in TCGs. We see the charge power for the worker bot hit the board.
Yeah, normally the charge power here, hoping to be powered up with Reese. Oh, that's interesting. So you see Mind only attacking with the 3/3 minion this time. Because he doesn't want to lose the 3/1.
Yeah, I guess it's because he either forces the block off of the worker bot now, or represents lethal next turn.
Yep. No, it makes sense. I was just my own initial reaction. Usually, when I see the minions in play, I just swing with them every time, unless it would be something terrible like the opponent having a Vampire King, and you can't even deal enough damage to make it worth the attack. But yeah, it makes sense.
We see Determined Zombie, which is an undead. Not a necessarily powerful one.
Gotta have at least 20 undead. You see that poor minion being bounced back to the hand yet again. Not the end of the world, though. Minion always does have the option to tunnel if it gets a little too expensive.
And tunneling always costs 2.
And tunneling will always cost 2. No matter what the cost of the minion itself would be, the tunneling is always 2.
Looks like we'll see a heroic Buccaneer swooping in off the mast of the ship to block that minion of Yazkan. The minion of Yazkan, never truly dead. And the Vampire King finally hits the board. Looks like Nulfim's running out of options, but he is on 5 cards in hand with 5 resources. And we see the Extinction come out, remove a zombie and a Vampire King. See another Vampire King, which will have been drawn since the Subterranean Spy was underground. Enter the board.
Nulfim quickly running out of options here. The minion is about to resurface. The Vampire King is out. The charge power for mine potentially available next turn if he draws another shard. And we know there's another minion in his hand as well, too.
And we see another Extinction. Using Extinction on one troop, not the place you usually want to be.
That is true. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Minion of Yazkan surfaces. Now with 4 attack. We see the 3/3 minion of Yazkan return to the board. Sacrificed onto the original, not the original, the new minion of Yazkan to make it 6/3. The Cogtopedal's Thirst that we saw in hand much earlier, making a 9/2 minion of Yazkan, drawing a card. And Nulfim says good game, takes lethal damage, and we will go to reserves for this game. For this match, as it were.
Yeah, I don't think there was a line that could save him there at the end, but sometimes you just have to hope that your opponent doesn't see how he can kill you right away. Now, if Bananer has it, against the minions, the minions are actually a really big threat against the slower control decks, which it appears that Bananer is playing. So the Bananer is really going to hope that he's got some kind of way to deal with the minion there, I would think.
Is Lokakoro streaming? Did we somehow never pick Lokakoro even though he's streaming?
He is streaming.
We'll have to catch him
We've
at some
looked at
point.
it, or at least I've looked at it. Of course,
Okay, next round. Next round, Lokakoro. Done. Set. He is not allowed to dodge being on the featured match. So we will see if Nulfim chooses to go first or second here. He does choose to go first, I believe, and is now choosing to keep his hand. Had to think about it.
I don't know. It looks like a good shit here hand, right?
Wait, the Mushwalkie's not a Shinra. You can't run that! Illegal deck list! Illegal deck list!
So, not a lot of action started off, just a couple of shards here. Nulfem going for the second blood right away.
Yeah. What do you represent by putting that second blood out? Or is it just a matter of his hand? He needed that second blood and didn't have anything better to do with that turn but play a split shard.
Yeah, it might represent that you need to play your Inquisition, or it might be a Vampire King or Vampire Princess, or, well, no, not in this matchup. I guess Extinction. I guess Extinction's the big one.
Yeah, but you don't represent that on turn 2.
No. So, maybe Inquisition, I guess.
So we do see the Buccaneer come out, kick back Mind's troop, bring its cost up by 1. Mind will respond by laying down the Vampire Princess. She deserves a sweet guitar riff. She has a bunch of lines of text, but for those of you that weren't here earlier for the description, she is a 2/3 flying life drain vampire undead princess who, when she deals damage to an opposing troop, reveals a card from their hand at random. If it's an action, she turns it into a vampiric kiss, and if she was in your opening hand, you can use her ability to make vampiric kisses you play free. And we see the vampire princess swinging in. Nulfem decides to respond with the Ripple of Time, sending that back to his hand, increasing the cost of it by 1. Mind was holding a blood resource for the turn, so he lays that down. Perhaps just replays the vampire princess here.
And that is exactly what he does.
The door poster has already been rolled and given away, Exius. Barmonk won it after round 2. So the problem